What I want to do this morning is talk about David Scott's career of corruption. David Scott has been in politics for 48 years. He's been in elected office for 48 years. And during those 48 years, I dare say he has assembled a record of corruption unparalleled in Georgia politics. When I prepared in the last 24 hours, as I prepared for this, it was difficult because I had to pick the things that are most reflective of that corruption. One of the things that the public needs to understand is, first of all, David Scott is unfit to fulfill the duties of his job. It is widely discussed in Washington, it's widely discussed in his district that his physical and mental capabilities are in serious decline. And I'm not here to talk about David Scott's infirmities, his illnesses, or his age. I'm here to talk about David Scott, the age of his ideas. David Scott is not able to be in his district. He has not been seen in his district for years. This is pre-pandemic. He's on physical and mental decline, as I said, just like Senator Feinstein in California. He ought not to be running, but he is running. And it's a disservice to the constituents that he's supposed to be serving in the 13th district. And that's been well documented. Even Democrats, even colleagues, even friends of his have documented the fact that he's not up to the job. Two, when you layer on that his record of corruption, and he was designated by the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington as one of the 25 most corrupt congressmen in America. And there were two major complaints. One, that he was funneling campaign money to his personal business and to his family. At that time, it was $715,000. In addition, and this is much less discussed, but Crew, this organization, sent a letter to the Department of Justice at that same time asking for the Department of Justice to investigate Scott for using his congressional staff in his political campaigns. That has not gotten as much attention as the other stuff, but I cannot find any record of any investigation by DOJ. Now, some folks say, well, that was a while ago. Well, it may have been, but it is corrupt. And two, just in the last few weeks, I've talked to a former staffer who has said that David Scott's office tried to use him on a political campaign before he left that office. So this is not something of a bygone day. This is how David Scott has performed in his career of corruption. And then lastly, something that has not been discussed for a long time. We were able to uncover a file, two files in fact. One is an EEOC complaint by an admin assistant here at the state capitol who accused David Scott of sexual harassment. The EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, received this complaint from the admin assistant. And then the case went to federal court. And David Scott and two other senators settled that sexual harassment suit for $190,000. I think that's important for these reasons. That $190,000 was snuck in the budget. You know, I served on the Appropriations Committee here at the State Capitol for a long time, and I know how it's done. It was that $190,000 settlement was snuck into the state budget. So taxpayers paid for David Scott's settlement of a sexual harassment case. And I am not going to I will make the files available to anyone who wants them. But I'm not going to repeat the lewd comments that Scott made to this admin assistant. That was before the Me Too movement. And there again, that some might argue that, well, that was a while ago. But John Conyers paid the price with his career. And so I have not spoken to the woman who was the victim of the sexual harassment, but I want you to ask, if you were able to find her and talk to her, I want you to ask her, was this sexual harassment something you forgot, that you got over because it was a while ago? I don't think so. But those are the kind of the bookends of David Scott's career of corruption. Financial corruption and sexual harassment corruption. So that's as much as I want to say right now. All of the documentation that I have on the sexual harassment suit, I will make available. The former staffer reached out to me, as a matter of fact, and then, and I understand he got a little bit cold feet. He didn't want to come forward, and I understand that. But that's as much as I want to say. I'll take any and all questions from you.
Senator, why come out with this now, right before the primary? Obviously, we're days away from the primary.
Great question.
Why wait till now?
Well, I didn't wait. I know that the media has a lot of this information, and for whatever reason, they're not using the information. Unfortunately, sometimes we, the media, and the public gets entranced with the horse race nature of politics as opposed to the substance and policy of politics. I've only had this information for a short while. I had heard over the years when I was in the state legislature that there was a sexual harassment suit that he and others were involved in, but I've only gotten those files, the documentation, fairly recently.
I'd be very interested in just looking at the documentation.
Okay. I'll make sure you get those.
Obviously, we'd want to just take a look at that.
It's fully documented. I think probably 100 to 200 pages of data to back that up, including the instance of sexual harassment that David Scott was involved in. I'll be glad to get that to you.